Hey, it's another week of this. Can you believe it? I did a second week. I'm probably gonna try and do this every Tuesday, so it's kind of cool. Appreciate everybody that watched last week and that is here to watch it again. Uh, I think there's like 30 views, which still is pretty cool to me. I'm happy with it. Um, Happy that people wrote to me and said they dug it and they would be back for more. People shared it. That's all very cool. Appreciate that so very much. Um, I figured last week, or thought last week, that I didn't really introduce myself and like how I got into this comics and reading them and also working in them. In 2006, I started reading comics when I saw Patton Oswalt and Brian Posehn in the Comedians of Comedy. When they were on tour doing comedy, they would stop and buy comics, and from seeing that, I was like, hey, I don't really have a hobby. I should get in. I want to get into reading comics. So I did. I started buying like crazy, buying weekly. Uh, I started with like Watchmen and stuff like that. The people were like, "Oh, it's the quintessential comic. You got to read it." Like that, and like what else was it? Like Batman Year One, uh, Crisis on Infinite Earths, stuff like that. And from there, I started buying everything DC. And through the years, I spread out to reading Marvel stuff and Image, Dark Horse, all the, you know, and then smaller things. But then getting into working in comics, since high school, I've done a bunch of different careers and trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life. And eventually, I was in school for graphic design, and a lot of this I looked into like working in comics at some point, and a lot of the lettering stuff applied also to graphic design. So I started looking more into it. I wrote into a podcast called Crankcast with Chris Crank and Mike Norton. Chris Crank being a letterer for comics, a lot of Oni stuff. He gave me some advice through the podcast of where to go, what websites to look at, some things to check out. There was a comic craft book about lettering and a DC book about lettering. Now there's also the Nate Pico's book that came out like a year or two ago. Didn't have it at the time, but now if you're wanting to get into lettering, that is like the quintessential book. I think it's the second time I used the word quintessential. Maybe it was like a word a day, but you should check out that book if you want to get into lettering. The Nate Pico's Blambot, the guide to comic, complete guide to comic lettering. If you look up comic book lettering guide and image and Nate Pico's, type in all those words into Google and you'll find it definitely. Um, but yeah, so read those books, went to every website and every YouTube video about lettering, and just kind of picked up on everything and kind of taught myself how to do it. I started applying to like small jobs on like forums that they used to exist. Oh, excuse me. I don't know if those forums even exist anymore, but there used to be like job listings on forums. Now I think mostly it's just Twitter and Facebook and stuff like that. People will post that they're looking for a letterer. Uh, but I started doing little small jobs, and it kind of grew from there to where I got repeat customers and repeat clients, and I got from there, or word of mouth, I got to bigger creators and publishers, and it kind of just grew and grew till it became a career. And then 10 years later, I've worked on a bunch of different stuff. I've got 2 Ringo nominations for in 2021 and in last year 2023 for best letterer for the Ringos. I haven't won one yet, but that doesn't at all keep me up at night. You know, Seething with rage. No, no, I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. But yeah, so yeah, that's how I got into this, and I just gonna keep on doing it forever, I guess. I hope so. It beats working some of the construction jobs and delivery jobs I used to have. Uh, a lot less physical labor sitting at a desk and making comics. So hopefully I can keep doing that for a while. But yeah, that's how I got into comics. Um, let's see. Last week we did like a stuff I got in the mail. Um, I got some stuff once again from Silver Sprocket. They had a deal where you got a free pin. This little goat head, their little mascot guy, Focus. That's the thing that people always do in YouTube videos. It's not working, uh, but you bought 2 books, you got that for free. So I bought Pena Comics from Andrew Pena. Oh, good lord, I can't hold things up right to a camera. And You Are Revolting. I haven't read them yet, but they seem pretty cool. I like anything from Silver Sprocket. They got a good eye for talent, and they put out a lot of cool stuff. I also got I Hate You, Please Die from Garrett Gunn. It was a Kickstarter book, so I got both issues of that. Haven't read them yet, but they seem cool. Maybe after I read them, I will review them on here. Um, let's see. Uh, some stuff coming out this week that I'm really digging. Bloodrick, cool barbarian book. Um, really crazy art. Crazy good art, I should say. When I say crazy art, I mean crazy good art. It's just really cool looking. Just wild, barbarian action. That's all cool stuff. Um, Sacrificers is a really cool book. It's kind of a little bit of a horror book. Kind of like a scary, suspenseful thing. I don't really dig horror all that much, but it's also got this weird fantasy kind of thing going with it. So I'm really digging it. I like it a lot. It's got like a surprise twist, which I'm not going to tell you because I mean that would be kind of mean to just spoil the whole thing. You should check it out though if you dig like fantasy, horror, suspensey kind of things. Uh, Transformers also coming out this week. I didn't grow up watching Transformers. It just never really was my thing. But the whole Transformers, GI Joe, Void Rivals universe that Image is putting out, I really like it a lot. GI Joe, I watched the cartoons more of that when I was a kid than I did Transformers. But I don't really know that much about it. I read the new Larry Hama GI Joe comics that came out, and it's just really kind of loving the idea that Cobra is started as a pyramid scheme, and they are like run out of like a community center. I don't know, just kind of just ridiculously goofy kind of comic book thing that I never really. If that was part of the cartoon, I don't remember that part of it. Just this kind of just goofy, funny idea. Uh, I don't know, man. I'm just really digging it. I don't have any books in stores this week that I lettered, but there, like I said last week, there's a couple stuff that are coming out. Issues Empath from Black Box, Grandma Tilly's Helltech Mech from Band of Bards, American Psycho from Sumerian, and Vixen NYC from DC Comics. It was a webtoon, and now they're putting out little volumes. Um, there's also Whisper of the Woods and Voyage de Gourmet from Mad Cave that were graphic novels that came out. They're probably still on the shelves. They came out recently. There's also I didn't mention on Webtoon there is Urban Animal that I think is there's 150 episodes, maybe more, maybe less. I can't somewhere around there that I've lettered for with Justin Jordan and John Amore. That's just really fun comic. It's like a fantasy chimera comic about a kid who finds out that he's part of this like ancient chimera society. I don't know. I don't want to give out too much of the plot because it's a really cool comic. You should check it out. And also Nexus Point. That's another webtoon comic that I'm doing. It's like a hackers sci-fi kind of deal. Kind of the near future where there's like computer implants and hacking and all kinds of sci-fi kind of goodness. It's also a cool comic. I think there's 60 episodes of that on Webtoon. Um, But yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff that I've worked on. More stuff coming out soon, but just not this week. But yeah, check that out. I'll have links below in the description deal for all the places where you can see me. You can buy. Um, but I make buttons out of old comics on Etsy. There's the Disasters, which is a comic I wrote. You can read the first issue for free on Global Comics. And the second issue, like you join Global Comics, you can read the second issue. Um, there, I'm working on getting a store. I was hoping I was going to get it done before I could make this video, but uh, it's still got some work to be done on it. So that'll be definitely before next week, but maybe even sometime this week it'll be done. Maybe even today. I'm not sure. I'll work more on it after I'm done doing this. But that'll be on Square. You can probably on social. I'll post about it on social media when it's done, and you can look at it and maybe buy some physical comics from me. I'll mail them to your house. It'll be great. But anyway, that's me. That's what's going on this week for Micah. Check out all the social media stuff. Check out the other links below. Check out the books I talked about. And have a good week. Bye bye.